Hey, Christian Chapel, it is Ash Wednesday. It's the coldest Ash Wednesday that I remember. I think it's about 10 degrees right now while we're shooting this, so it'll probably be the shortest Ash Wednesday message that I've ever had as well. For those of you who aren't familiar with Ash Wednesday, it marks the beginning of Lent. Lent is a 40-day season of renewal, a season of preparation that the church has participated in since about the 10th century. Lent is not in the Bible, but that's okay. It's still helpful for us. Annual Bible reading plans and other resources and materials we use we don't directly take from the scriptures, and yet they help us as followers of Christ. Lent is one of those seasons for us at Christian Chapel. During Lent, we focus on the resurrection of Jesus so that when Easter comes, it doesn't just sneak up on us, but it's something we've really prepared, we've thought about, and we're ready to fully celebrate the significance of Christ's resurrection in our life and in our world. On Ash Wednesday, we pause to remember our sin. We remember that sin always leaves a mark, both on us and on the world around us. We remember that sin separates us from God, and also sin creates separation with others. On Ash Wednesday, though, we don't just come to kind of dwell in our sin and to sit down in it and think how terrible we are and how miserable it all is. But we come really to remember that because of our sin, God sent Jesus to us. He is the perfect and final sacrifice for all of our sin. He comes to cleanse us and to renew us. This is not just the focus of Ash Wednesday, it's also the focus of Lent as a whole. We're continually remembering what Jesus has done and the difference it makes in our world. Most people participate in Lent in one of two ways. First, for some of us, we will give something up during Lent. So a lot of times people will give up sweets or dessert or maybe extra shopping or purchasing. Some will give up coffee. Some of you might give up cussing or beer or other things. I don't know. But we give things up not to make ourselves a better person. We don't give things up as kind of our New Year's resolution 2.0, but we give things up as a way to remember that Jesus sacrificed so much for us. So if you choose to give things up this year during Lent, I would encourage you, don't do it to try to make God love you more. Don't do it to try to get him to answer your prayers, but just give up something that will serve as a daily reminder to you of Jesus' sacrifice for you. So some people give something up. Other people pick something up during Lent. So you might pick up extra time in the scriptures. You might pick up extra time in prayer. You might pick up an extra time of devotion to participating in your local church community. You might pick up generosity. You might pick up an increase in your kindness or encouragement. Whatever it is, again, when we pick those things up, we're doing it to remember the new life that Jesus has given to us. So again, we're not using Lent as a self-improvement plan. We're not using it as a time to try to be the person through our own power we've always wanted to be. But we're just picking up or putting down little things in our normal schedules that will help refocus our attention on who Jesus is and what Jesus has done. Now, during a normal Ash Wednesday service, we would all gather together in the auditorium at Christian Chapel. And at the end of the service, you would come down towards the front, and I would have some ashes in my hand, and I would take those and I would place them on your forehead in the shape of a cross. Those go on your forehead as a reminder that sin is personal and sin leaves a mark on you. But they go on your forehead as well in the shape of a cross as a reminder that Jesus has perfectly and finally solved our sin problem. I love Ash Wednesday because it's really just one big object lesson. And as you go home that evening, you would take time to wash those ashes off of your forehead. In doing so, you're remembering that Jesus has come to cleanse you completely from the stain of your sin. Now, we don't have the opportunity to do that together this year, but we do have another object lesson on Ash Wednesday. Wherever you are, if you're anywhere in the Midwest right now, you can look outside and you see snow covering the ground. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18, the Lord tells us that though our sins are like scarlet, he will make us white as snow. So in the same way that a full, heavy winter snow covers all of the imperfections, it covers your dead grass, it covers the dead leaves, it covers the potholes in the streets, covers all of these things. It just makes everything look fresh and new and clean and complete. So we're reminded this year on Ash Wednesday that Jesus comes and does the same thing with our sin. He covers over all of the death, he covers over all of the wreckage that our sin creates, and he makes all things new. But unlike this snow that's going to melt and actually leave behind maybe a bigger mess than we had at the beginning, when Jesus comes and forgives, he doesn't just cover up our sin, but he changes and transforms us from the inside out. So my prayer for you this Ash Wednesday is that you would remember, yes, you're a sinner, but more than that, that Jesus has come to forgive you and to restore you. And my hope for you this year during Lent is that you will find ways to either pick something up or put something down to serve as a daily reminder of the sacrifice of Jesus for you. If you don't have a church home, we'd love to have you join us at Christian Chapel during Lent this year. We're going to be celebrating the change that Jesus brings and his ability to resurrect us from every circumstance that we find ourselves in. You can join us in person every Sunday at 9:15 or 10:45, or you can join us online at christianchapel.com. God bless you. I hope you have a great Ash Wednesday, and I hope you're staying warm.